Hi guys, welcome to episode number 8 of my horror game tutorial series. In this episode we are going to write our first script, and with this script we are going to be toggling the flashlight on and off. Okay, so the first thing I want to do is I want to turn off the lights in our scene view so that we can see everything clearly in the scene view itself. A quick note here, that doesn't change anything in the game view. It just made it so that the lights have no influence about the scene view. Okay, the next thing we are going to do is we're going to create a new folder. So right click on the assets folder, create. We're going to create a folder, and this is going to be the scripts folder. So every script is going to be inside of this folder. Double click. And now we are going to create a new script. So create C# script. We are going to use the C# language. Just click on it. And now call it flashlight. And press enter. Make sure that you get the name right at your first try, because changing the name later on can be a little bit difficult. So just try to get it right the first time. And then we click on our flashlight game object. So it's under our player and under the first person character, the flashlight itself. And we're going to drag this flashlight onto the flashlight game object. Okay? So now every bit of game logic that we write inside of this flashlight script is going to apply to this flashlight object. Okay, and now double click on the script. Now, if you're on a Windows PC, Visual Studio will open, and if you are on a Mac, Mono Develop should open. It doesn't make any difference. Just the interface will look a little bit different, so don't worry. Okay, so now Visual Studio has opened up our script. You can see up here the flashlight.cs. CS stands for C#. And there are already a few things inside of the script. For now you don't have to worry about any of this. But later on you will probably start to understand what these things mean. Okay, so the first thing I want to do is I want to get this curly bracket down here. And now, okay, so let's think about what we are going to do with the script. We want to toggle the flashlight on and off, right? So let's have a look at the flashlight game object itself. The flashlight game object has a component called the light component. So we want to modify the light component. So how do we turn off the light completely? Well, for this I'm going to turn on the lights in the scene again. Okay, so now if I click on this little checkbox right here, I'm disabling the light, and you can see there's no more light in the scene. And if I click on the checkbox again, here, then you can see the light is on again. So we want to change this checkbox when we click on a certain button, right? Okay. So the first thing we are going to do is we're going to put the light component of this game object, into a variable. A variable is something like a container. You can put stuff in there and then tell the script, hey script, look there, there's something inside of this container, inside of this variable, please change something of this variable. Okay? So first we type in public, because there are two ways you can start to declare a variable. By writing public. Public means that other scripts can get the value of this variable, and the next thing you can do if the variable is set to public is that you can modify it in the inspector, and we want to modify this this light variable in the inspector, so we're going to set it to public. Okay. And now after the public, we are going to set the type. The type of this variable is going to be light. You can see the component is called light, so this is the light component. So I'm going to type in light. Okay. And now comes the name of the variable, and I'm going to call this variable flashlight. Okay. Oops. And at the end of every line of code comes a semicolon. Oh, let me change my keyboard layout to German. Okay, a semicolon at the end of every line. And then press Ctrl and S for saving. And now if I go back into Unity, you can see that it updates. And now we have a flashlight, and it wants a light component. So we are going to grab the flashlight game object, and we're going to drag it into this slot. And now it's going to grab the light, so this light, from this game object, and we can start to modify this light inside of the script. So we go back into the script. And now we need another variable. This is going to be a private variable, because we don't want to see this variable in the inspector, and we don't need to have other scripts accessing this variable. So we're going to set it to private. And then the type of the variable is going to be a bool or boolean. This means a boolean has two values, true or false. And this bool variable is going to be called isActive. So we are going to check if the flashlight is active or if it's not active. Okay? And now we're going to type something in the start method. You can see that it's a method by looking here. It's saying void start. Going to have this curly bracket down here, and it says use this for initialization. So we're going to use this. When we start our game, I want to make sure that the flashlight is enabled. So I'm going to set isActive is equal to true. Okay? So we with this we make sure that our flashlight is on in the beginning of the game. And now we are going to write something in the update method. The update method is called, as it says here, once per frame. And this is very good if you want to check for input or movement or something like this. Okay? So let me add a comment. To write a comment, you make a double slash, and then you can write anything. The code will ignore this line completely. So I'm going to type in use this for input. So the first thing we want to do is we want to check if we actually get an input. So to check something, we're going to write if and then make brackets. So the if clause will be executed if anything that is inside of these two brackets is true. So we want to check if input dot get button down, or for now let's make if input dot get key down, and then keycode dot F. So, and then curly brackets. So what this does is it checks if the input dot key if input dot get key down means if we get a certain key on our keyboard, and which key is going to be the F key. So if we're pressing the F key, then anything that's inside of these two curly brackets will be executed. So we want to first check if isActive is equal to false. Here I used two equals because I want to compare. So two equals mean compare something with another, and one equal means you set the value of something to something else. This sounds complicated, but you're going to get used to it pretty fast, I'm sure. So if the flashlight is not active, then of course you want a flashlight. So we are grabbing this light up here, the flashlight dot enabled, because we want to enable the component, is going to be true. Okay, so if it's not active, then we are going to set it to active. And now we are going to set isActive is true, because the flashlight is on now. So we can say, yep, the flashlight is on, so it's active. So set it to isActive, set it to true. And but what if it's not active? What if it's active when we press the F key? We of course want to toggle it off. So we are going to write else if. Okay, that means if this is not true, then check this. isActive is equal to, make sure that this is a double equal, because otherwise you will get an error. True. Well, then we want to flashlight dot enabled is equal to false, and then isActive is equal to false as well. So now save. And now if we go back to Unity, this will update, as you can see down here. And now if we go into the play mode and press the F key, you can see the flashlight turns off. And now if we press the F key again, it turns on again. And if you look at the light component on the flashlight, you can see that it actually turns on and off as well. So now we have a flashlight that we can toggle. Isn't that cool? Okay. So now we're going to add another thing, because right now it's a little bit boring if you ask me. We only can toggle the flashlight on and off, but it doesn't make any sound at all. And I think there should be a sound that tells the player that he just turned off the flashlight or turned it on. So first of all, we're going to need sound effects for this. So we're going to create a new folder, and we're going to call this sounds or sound FX. And then I'm going to grab, let me drag this in here. In my sounds folder, we are going to need the flashlight on and off sound, and we are going to drag it into Unity, into the sound FX folder. And now we have the sounds imported. You can have you can listen to them. And now we want to actually play the sounds on our flashlight. Oops. So to do that, we need another component. We need to add a component, and this component is called an audio source, because this object will play an audio, so we need an audio source. Okay, now we go back to the script, and we need yet another variable. Actually, we need a few more variables. The first variable we are going to need is an public audio clip, and this is the sound flashlight on, and we have a public audio clip sound flashlight off. Oh, I wrote this with a double N. That's of course not correct. And now we need yet another variable, because we want to modify this audio source. Let me open it. Because you can see this audio source is going to play any audio that's inside of its audio clip source, and we already have 2 audio clips. So that we can assign the audio clips through the script, we are going to grab the audio source itself. So we are going to do this the same way. We grab the light. So we have a public audio source. We're going to call this the audio source. And save. And now, down here, where we toggle the flashlight on and off. So this is the on. So let me just add this. Toggle flashlight on. And this is toggle flashlight off. And now we say audio source, because we want to modify the audio source, dot play one shot, because we only want to play the audio clip one time. And now, what audio do we want to play? We want to play the sound flashlight on. So we type in sound flashlight on and end this with a semicolon. And now we can copy and paste this and just change this from on to off. And now save. Go back into Unity. The script will update again. And now you can see it wants an audio source, it wants a sound flashlight on, and it wants a sound flashlight off. So we're going to drag, wrong slot. We're going to drag the sound files in here. Okay, so sound flashlight on is equal to this one, and off is equal to this one. And the audio source, we are again grabbing the flashlight from here and dragging it inside of here. So now you can see it has the flashlight and it has the audio source component from it. So now if I go into the play mode and press F, you can hear that we now have sound. So now we have a fully functional flashlight that we can toggle on and off. And I think this is pretty cool for your first script. So if you have any problems, any errors that might occur, just leave a comment and I'm going to answer you. But I can advise you that you make sure that your script looks exactly like this, because it worked for me, and if it worked for me and you have it exactly the same way, then it should work for you too. And that's everything for this tutorial. So please leave a like and consider subscribing. It would make me happy. And again, if you have any questions, just leave a comment, I will answer. And I hope you enjoyed. I'm not sure what we are going to do in the next tutorial, but until then, bye guys.